We're now joined by head coach Pat Cilento and receiver safety Damani Neal of the Bullis School. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, got to start with you. Obviously, it's the question that is on everybody's mind when it comes to Bullis. Dwayne Haskins, your all-standout quarterback at Ohio State. What are you guys looking to do to replace a guy that was so important for you over the last few years?
Well, I don't know if you ever replace a guy that magnitude. I mean, he was a great player for us for 3 straight years. I think he lost 1 conference game in 3 years. But you know what? We got great players, and I'm sure they'll come through and mesh as a team, and we'll put a good product out on the field.
Now, of course, one of the great players is the guy sitting next to you, Damani Neal. Talk about what makes him so special.
You know, he's a student of the game. He knows what you're thinking. He knows where to be, and he makes plays all over the field, both on offense, defense, and special teams. And he's a leader out there.
We'll have more with Coach and Damani coming up right after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at OleMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at OleMetSports.com. We'll see you soon.
We're back with Pat Cilento and Damani Neal of Bullis. Coach, last year you guys ended up a tough start to the season, had some losses, Mount St. Joe's, Woodbury, and that classic game, Riverdale, also Episcopal, but you run off 4 straight to end the season. What was that season like in the sense you kind of go from really a low start to a thrilling finish?
Well, you know, we weren't used to losing, but the kids rallied. We had a lot of injuries to start the season. Lost Pat Johnson, who went to Wisconsin day before that Mount St. Joe's game, so put in a freshman. So we have a lot of guys returning that had a lot of experience, and they grew as the season grew. So we're really optimistic about this year and looking forward to getting back out on the field.
Coach, obviously, we talked about Haskins, him being gone, but there are a lot of guys on this team, including Damani, who really can be watched out for this year. Who are some of the folks to watch if you're trying to say who's going to be doing some good things for Bullis football?
We returned 4 out of 5 offensive linemen. Evan Thompson's a 3-year starter for us, and then you also have the Virginia Tech commit Aiden Brown, and Derek D'Angelo will also be attending Duke with Damani. You got Eric Hegeman, who's a newcomer, son of a former NFL player, George Hegeman. So the offensive line we're really excited about. We got a couple new running backs back there, in Devin Darrington and Orlando Scary, and Andres Lopez last year, once he was healthy, gave us some great yards.
Defensively, who are some guys to look out for?
You know, defensively, Kyle Fairbanks will anchor that defense along with Damani, and again, we return 8 guys on the defense. So we're excited about that, and you know, the secondary should be pretty good.
Damani, let's get over to you now. Obviously, your exploits have got you to a commitment to Duke. We'll talk about that in a second. But this year's team, what do you see as maybe some differences from last year's team to this year's squad?
I think definitely our senior leadership. You know, our seniors have been together for a long time. You know, Andres and I have been in Bullis since we were freshmen, and you know, Derek and Aiden and all those guys have been friends for 2 to 3 years. So I think our ability to mesh off the field and, you know, transition on to the field and be great leaders, and, you know, it drives those guys around us to be great players and great people.
Now, of course, you got a pretty good coach in Coach Cilento. Tell us about why it is so fun to go ahead and play for him and play well, obviously, as you guys have done for the last few years.
Yeah, Coach, like you said, he's a great coach. He's got a lot of energy. He's not the youngest guy, but he still knows a lot about the game. You know, he brings energy to games and practices all the time. So it's fun to be around him and play for him.
Now let's go ahead and get to the Duke commitment. Why did you choose to go ahead and play your college career for the Blue Devils?
When I went on my last visit to Duke in the spring, I believe, I sat down with one of the defensive back coaches, Coach Derek Jones, and we spoke about Duke for about an hour and a half, nothing about football, just, you know, about life and how attending Duke, you know, as a student athlete could change your life, you know, for your 4 years in college and then 40 years down the line when you're a father and a husband. So that conversation really stuck with me. And I was actually, as soon as we left Duke, I was on a flight to go to Vanderbilt. And my dad looked at me and he said, "You really don't want to go to Vanderbilt, do you?" And I was like, "Nah, Dad, I think I want to go to Duke." And then you know, after I talked about it to him and my mother, you know, we felt that was the best decision for me.
And do you think you would have chosen Duke if not for your 4 years at Bullis before that?
Nah, not at all. I think Bullis has definitely prepared me both academically and athletically for life at Duke, so I'm really excited.
Coach, let's get back over to you. Obviously, you came over from Sherwood, kind of made some waves when it happened, but your move has been very good. You've been able to raise the profile of this Bullis program. What have been the major changes, do you think, from this program from where you started with it to where it is now?
Well, you know, we've continued to get great players in and great people. You know, if you look at the people that are coming in, the players, that they're hungry, both academically and athletically, and you look at where the kids are going to school, you know, they're great places, Duke, Wake Forest, Penn State. So it's been neat to see the transformation.
And let's wrap it up on this one, Coach. The IAC as a whole, you've seen this as it's gotten better. You know, the Episcopal program's gotten very good under Coach Vulgaris. Also, the other programs already were power programs have managed to kind of raise their level. Why has the IAC kind of been able to raise itself up over the last few years?
Well, I think the schools in general. I mean, you're talking about, you know, 6 of the best schools in the area for boys. You look at the Episcopal school, I mean, unbelievable campus, unbelievable academics. You can say that about pretty much every school in our conference. They're all a little bit different. Once I first came in the league 7 years ago, there was one Division I athlete. He was out of St. Stephen's. Now we're averaging, you know, 15 to 20 per year. And it, you know, it's a special place at IAC for, you know, athletics and academics.
Big time stuff there. Coach Cilento, Damani, thank you so much for joining us today. And be sure to go ahead and get your high school football fix by tuning into the Prep Zone every week at DMVSTREAM.COM.